Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to give you again a short update at the end of the year to the OPC Foundation Japanese OPC Day. I will give you a short update on the status of the organization, some collaborations, short update on the both initiatives, field and cloud, but also looking more to the future, what is important. A very short update here. I'm not going to all of the details and all of the numbers. But I'm really proud that the OPC Foundation is still growing. We are over 1,022 members right now. Um, the income, the budget is fine. But you know what I'm most proudly is that the OPC Foundation still has 0 main employees. We have contractors, that's true. But the main job, the main work is done by over 1,000 volunteers around the world. And this is why I'm always proud saying OPCUA is a movement from the industry to fulfill the requirements by the industry. So my thank to everybody here, also from the Japanese Council and all the working groups where all the participants are really highly working together to make the world in the automation area better. I'm also proud that you see this on the left side, that the OPC Foundation is the world's largest pool of standardized information models in the world, free of charge available. Over 425 models are available in the so-called cloud library. It's a repository, machine readable. And it's not only the domain-specific information models by the OPC Foundation done with partners, it is also other information models like the Asset Administration Shell or Catena X, where the OPCUA meta model is much more rich to be able to convert their information models and run them inside a stable OPCUA server infrastructure. I was not aware that there are so many open source projects on OPCUA, but here you go. It is over 1,900 last time when we looked at this. Short look on the member development. We are growing much smaller. That's true. We still get a lot of new member companies being interested on the deliveries of OPCUA, but honestly, I have to say that specifically in Europe, and specifically in the European big economies like the German economy, the economy is under pressure. And so we lost a lot of small Class D member companies. Yes, I have to say this. From a budget point of view, we do not realize this because, on the other hand, we get a couple of big Class A and Class B companies. For example, I like to welcome specifically BMW, another big automotive company, and they joined as a Class A company. So as you see here, we see definitely the pressure of the economy. But still, my congrats here to the Japanese country and the Japanese OPC Council, because still Japanese, as you see here, is relative to the number of the local companies in Japan, the area with the highest rate of Class A companies. It's over 50%. So my congrats, but also my thank you to all these big enterprise companies being in the OPC Foundation. Thank you. Let's have a look quickly on the board of director election, which happened in November timeframe. So on the left side, you see the board of director of the year 2025, and the upper part is exactly these companies had to re-elect for a next 2-year period. In the middle, you see exactly the election period. We had this time 8 candidates for the 7 open seats. And on the right side, you see the results. So first of all, for the election, I highly appreciate that we had more candidates compared to open seats. This shows really that we are number one. It is a real election. members have a choice. They can select, do I want to have a big IT or a big OT company or a small Class D company? So they can really choose from region, from domain. This is really what I highly support. On the right side, you see the results. I say congrats to all of the companies being now on the board for 2 years. The lower part of the listed companies, SAP, Beckhoff, Huawei, Mitsubishi, Ascolab, and Rockwell Automation, these are the companies who have to renew their board seat at the next election. So let's have a more technical update on OPC and related technologies. When I travel around the world and doing a lot of presentations, whenever I ask people, do you know OPC? Can I provide an update? A lot of people say, oh no, thanks, I know OPC. I'm aware of that. And then I'm asking, oh, okay, what's your knowledge? I mean, do you treat OPC as a protocol, being between the PLC as a last mile to the SCADA system, or are you aware of OPC being one of the best and richest meta modeling languages in the industrial automation sector? And when I have a chance to give them the update, I see, look here, this is how OPC dramatically has grown from that small PLC to SCADA idea into other areas. With PubSub technology, which enabled us to grow down into the field where OPC runs over UDP. First of all, between the controllers to connect machines inside the plant, having different controllers with different field bus systems on board, but now being extended also from controller to device. But also OPC PubSub enables to get much seamless, better scale information into the cloud systems. It's not just for the protocol to move data, it is for moving information and keep the context of information into IT and cloud systems. So let's have a short update on what happened with OPC in the field. And I noticed that there was already a presentation on OPC FX, so I'm very short here. I appreciated so much at this SPS show that I saw that, yes, the OPC FX C2C specifications are released, the OPC lab is ready. We are expecting products now. From the ecosystem, this is completely ready. We have a lot of different evaluation boards, different operating systems, and it's a mix of commercial and open source offerings. So everything to stimulate the market is available. Let's have a short look on what happened to the IT and cloud world. Last year, I already introduced the OPC Foundation's cloud initiative. This time I give you a short update here. First of all, you see the number of end users. There have been a lot of more end users getting all the information firsthand, but these are the companies where we have been allowed to print their logo also. I would love to get some Japanese end users here into this end user council also. This might be a good call for action. The goals of the cloud initiative are written down here, and I'm not repeating them again because I reported about that already last year. Just to highlight the yellow one, because this is for me the most important topic, the cloud companies agreed to keep the context of OPC information models in the cloud. Again, it's not just to have a standardized connectivity with OPC over MQTT, to have semantic in the cloud and have interoperability between cloud and edge applications and the OT world. It is really to keep the context of information because it's the key for artificial intelligence and machine learning. Right now, the group is sitting together. This is marked green. And the cloud people and the group, the steering committee, is sitting together to define the criteria how can you name your product OPC UA CX compatible? CX stands for Cloud Exchange, and it's similar to OPC UA FX, which stands for Field Exchange. So if you want to influence the direction here, you should be part of this cloud steering committee. The cloud initiative provided a brochure which I highly recommend to download. It's the first time where you see commercial offerings from different suppliers like AWS, Google, Huawei, Microsoft, SAP. Exactly what do they deliver? And again, this is a really great help for the end users to figure out what might be a best solution here. But the brochure also provides a big list of open source offerings, so you can select, are you fine with going with open source or do you prefer commercial offerings? I was very surprised, honestly, that also the OT companies are delivering a huge list of commercial offerings in the IT cloud area. I was personally not aware of that, honestly. So if you have interest to download the brochure, to see and learn about the cloud reference architecture, what does these components mean, who is delivering what, then please download the cloud brochure. It is about 22 pages and it's really interesting and we are always extending it. Let's talk about collaborations and activities mainly. Where do we work together on semantic with others? First of all, I'm really proud that again, in the first 10 months of this year, we had 28 publications, released companion specifications. This is an amazing number, which shows the importance of the OPC Foundation work, of all the volunteers involved worldwide. We had 13 calls for reviews and another 3 calls for new groups this year. Fantastic. To just give you one example that we are working and growing outside the core industrial automation area, this is about the laboratory area where these two gentlemen, Dr. Matthias Arnold and Heiko Fessenmeier, are bringing other worlds together here with the Allotrope Foundation, together with the OPC Foundation, delivering OPC-UA as a base modeling language, and then we take the semantic from Spectaris and the semantic from Allotrope to bring everything together. Fantastic work. We just started a new battery solutions working group, and I like to dive a little bit deeper inside here. You know, from 2027, the European Union is requiring a battery passport for every battery produced inside the European Union or for batteries being moved into the European Union. So, and this battery passport is not a static file, it's not a static printed paper. It is something which has some information which are delivered during the production, what is the supplier, what are the ingredients in the battery, some about materials and so on. But it's also collecting information during the usage. So how often has the battery been recharged? So here OPC-UA is perfectly bridging the OT and the IT world and bring all the systems together. So we have already a joint working group on the battery cell, but now the battery cell, on the one hand, delivering the information and the passport need to come together, and we have to bring in all the parameters together. This is why we have to align with a lot of other associations. And so we made a reference architecture about this digital product passport, which is using the OPC-UA information models together with the Catena X mapping. So Catena X is the initiative for the automotive industry, and obviously automotive industry is super strong push and power behind batteries here. So the team is really great. It is initiated and led by the Fraunhofer Institute, FFB, in Münster, Germany, which is, by the way, my hometown. I'm really proud on this. This is the so-called research hotspot of battery research in Germany. They also have a complete production line. And now it is really amazing. We are cooperating with everybody, Catena-X, the Industrial Data Space Association, the IDTA, OPC Foundation, obviously. The VDA is the union of German car automotive companies, the VDMA, and we have initial companies like Huawei and Microsoft. Everybody agreed to come together to one table to work as long as possible until we have a complete solution for the battery passport live and in action with the demonstration factory in Münster with the concrete battery cell production. If this is interesting for you, please join the group. I already mentioned data spaces with the with the International Data Space Association. So this is a cooperation where we figured out that their technology delivering sovereignty of data and our technology delivering interoperability with the modeling language, with transport and security fit perfectly together. Um, it fits together because what they do with this data sovereignty, how long are you allowed to work with the data and use the data, is something which OPC Foundation is not working on. So you will hear much more about data spaces and our collaborative work with the IDSA in future. Our collaboration with Catena-X is for the automotive industry. Um, The Catena-X is for the supply chain in the automotive industry. And again, we have been able to just convert their information models into the OPCUA format and provide them free of charge in our cloud library. So you, with any kind of UA modeler, you can load it into your OPCUA server, and then we have a super stable foundation with OPCUA to collect information, but also provide the information via REST interfaces. If you are more interested on this, please download the reference architecture and download also more information. Yeah, there are a lot of more information between Catena-X and OPC Foundation collaboration. There has been a slide deck and the recording to explain it. You can see the recording, but also you can download the white paper. Our collaboration with the IDTA also made a lot of progress. There has been a proof of concept initiated by Siemens together with the IDTA and the support of the OPC Foundation. And it's all about unifying the AAS and OPCUA together to have one common information model and one common communication. Honestly, today we see a complete splitted world. In today's world, a lot of people believe OPCUA is just for the OT level, the last mile, to get dynamic data, and the asset administration shell is collecting static data over the life cycle. And the asset shell is the only exclusive layer to transport data into data spaces or supply chain. And that's not true. We are so proud that OPCUA can bypass layers and that you can run and that we get rid of all the de facto standards in the automation pyramid. Instead, OPCUA can scale from the sensor via different protocols to upper layers, to cloud and cloud applications, because we can define the semantic with OPCUA. And so, same with Catena-X before, we are able to convert, and we have been converting all AAS information models to OPCUA information models without any loss of information. The opposite would not be possible. So with this, there has been proof of concept driven by Siemens, as mentioned before, and it exactly is answering the question, how can we integrate AAS and OPCA to work in one unified single software stack? How do we address the role of common information models? What kind of REST or Open API or WebSocket for modern high performance integration do we need? And is this exactly the concept for the future? So here you see exactly what they propose. On the left side, we see the situation before the year 2024. It is that AAS clients and an OPCA client is just in their world. They have their own communication and they have their own information models. And there is no overlap. Everybody is separated. In the middle, you see the cooperation, what we did already since last year, announced at the SPS show in November 2024. So we have already fulfilled to convert all AAS information models and map them into OPCA, rich meta modeling language of OPCA, make them free of charge available. And now we can run the AAS powered by OPCA in a super stable, robust environment, but everybody is keeping his own REST interface. For the future, and the right side, you see that we should work on one powerful communication channel, which at the end is then unifying both ideas. And so we have one common model and we have one common API. If you want to get and listen more about this scenario, has been a webinar. You can download the slides, you can listen to the recording, and please download the flyer. The OPCA for AI working group has made significant progress. At the beginning, they only had 3 major goals, which has now been extended to also use AI to shorten the generation of new companion specifications. There have been a lot of working meetings already where a lot of participants learned also a lot. So my call for participation is here also to the Japanese companies. Please join this group. For example, there has been a really interesting presentation from the leader, Dr. Holger Ken, about the UA working group. Please download this video. But we already have an international public available success story from the company Tobacco, Philip Morris from the tobacco industry. And they are using a semantic information model, OPCA for the tobacco industry, which is mandatory. And for me, this is an excellent work. First of all, it was end user driven. They invited all suppliers to join and their competitors to join. The complete tobacco industry has been sitting on one table, agreeing on the companion specification, which now is mandatory. And Philip Morris is describing the challenge of the integration, the success factors, but also why OPCA is a fantastic base for their AI using and what they helped in their industry. Also, the group made progress. For example, last week there was a presentation on the combination of OPCA and MCP. Really interesting. Just a very short hint, we reworked all working group landing pages. You can either start with a list of cooperation partners or on the left side, or with a list of working groups on the right side. It doesn't matter how you start, but you will find everything. If you have started by the cooperation partner, then at the end you get to the working group. You see all the activities of the working group. And once you are at the working group itself, you see the chairperson, the workspace, the documents, marketing. So it's a lot easier to find all the activities inside the OPC Foundation. So let's talk quickly about the offerings and information. We have updated the wall of OPC success journey for the year 2025. You can download this here and look into the PDF file. For 2025, we again have the category organization, technology, success stories, and companion specifications. And I'm not diving into all of that, but I like to give you a short overview here. For the organization, I'm really proud that in the year 2025, it's the first time in the history of the OPC Foundation that we have 5 representatives from IT companies on the board of directors, naming Amazon Web Service, Google, Huawei, Microsoft, and SAP. That's really amazing. So the OPC Foundation is really the organization where OT and IT is sitting at one table. And sure, we are also proud that now we are in the year 2025 with 19 years of backward compatibility without any compatibility break. So in the next year, 2026, we need to celebrate 20-year availability of OPCUA, and everybody is invited worldwide to celebrate. This year, 2025, we had 3 amazing success stories by Procter& Gamble from the United States, from ASFINAG, which is about the largest projects with, I believe, 6 million data points in all tunnels in Austria. And I'm really proud to have the first success story driven by China from producing watches for the world. Here's also a call for action. When do you deliver an end user driven success story from Japan? More updates here on the OPC Foundation brochure. We updated a lot of areas. We integrated a lot of more key person. And again, here my call for action. Why not integrate more end users or an end user from the Japanese world? The OPCUA academic program is available in 6 languages, including Japanese. We extended the content this year with PubSub over MQTT and file transfer, and I believe we have to do some work to also do now the translation into Japanese language to help the Japanese academic world to educate students and get them ready to the market. The marketplace of the OPC Foundation, I like to name for specific reasons because they have amazing click rates, which I was not aware, and I like to share that. So here you see, first of all, the link to the marketplace, and you see that you can set filters on. I am looking for a specific product, which is, for example, also supporting OPCUA over MQTT, because I want to have a super easy connection to the cloud world. Let's have a look on the click numbers. And I was not aware of that. Sure, I expected that 21% of all the clicks we measure are more technology related and developer tools, specification, sample code. Yes, for sure. 12% are asking on what is OPC, and this shows that we have a high relevance of new people being not aware of what is OPCUA. This is an indicator we are still growing. I was surprised about 5% of all clicks are directly going to the marketplace. 5% means 46,000 clicks in this 10 months, which is, if we calculate, 4,600 clicks per month just on the marketplace. And by the way, from the 4,600 clicks, 3,500 were looking for certified products. This is great. This is amazing. And this shows that all the marketing activities telling end users, make your life easier, look for certified products, is really paying out. So if you have a product, if you're an OPC Foundation member, put your product into the marketplace. People and companies are looking for that. And we know that specifically from automotive industry, for example, these companies are only looking and making their decision based on what they find in the marketplace. A short summary. Looking to the future, I clearly see that OPC has super high relevance in the IT world and specifically in the world for artificial intelligence. They need semantic, machine understandable data. Definitely, there is increasing recognition of OPCA because of our rich semantic modeling language and that we have stable standardized interfaces to leverage that information. We have the largest pool of standardized domain models, including the AAS and Catena X models. I mentioned that, over 420 models already. There's a super strong ecosystem behind, and we have a very robust legal protection framework, which is protecting you from being sued. So OPCA is the de facto standard for me for the modeling language. It is exactly not the transport, it's not the protocol. Protocol part is not relevant. This is changing and adapting in the future, but having stable information which you can describe with OPCA, that's the key. And the IT world is anyway looking for REST interfaces, that's fine. For me, I believe we should provide easier starter kits as we did for the MQTT world. OPCA starter kit we have for OPCA over MQTT, but I believe we also should work with others, with partners on a starter kit for the digital product passport. My call for action, and has been integrated here always. Please support the headquarter reallocation for Europe. Please help to let Japanese end users join the cloud initiative. Do you have interest to join the working groups on the battery solution or the artificial intelligence working group to learn more about AI? You're very welcome. From marketing point of view, we like to integrate more Japanese end users to the brochure. Where is the first Japanese-driven end user success story? Waiting for that. And I believe we also have to optimize the OPC Foundation web, the Japanese web, to find all that information a little bit. Anyway, with this, it was the end of my presentation. I thank you very much for your attention and see you somehow next year, maybe in person again. That would be great because we are celebrating 20 years of OPCA availability. Have a good evening and a good end of this year. Thank you so much.